I will just publish it on the internet and I'll start the class. Okay, Asman Gurubhyo Namaha, Asman Parama Gurubhyo Namaha, Asman Para Gurubhyo Namaha, Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha, Shri Lakshmi Nrsimha Parabrahmane Namaha, Shri Lakshmi Hayavadana Parabrahmane Namaha, Shri Krishna Namastu. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So in the last class, there was a question. This verse is not, it's okay. Na sato visi vidyate bhavo na bhavo vidyate sataha. Ubayorapi drishtavantaha anayos tattvadarshibhihi. So what this says is, the word here, asat is karana, sat is Brahma. So sat is Brahma, asat is the Prakriti. Both Mula Prakriti and Brahman are eternal. That's what is the meaning of this shloka according to Madhvacharya. Okay. Now, and we have already gone through this. Here, Jivatma was already said as Nitya earlier, right? Dehi Nityam Avadhyoyam, Dehe Sarvasya Bharata. That was said earlier. So Jivatma is Nitya is already known. So in this shloka, Madhvacharya says, well, the other Nitya Vastus are there, which are Prakriti and Brahman. So that is what is the essence of the shloka. What happens is the next shloka here, there seems to be a little bit of an issue. If you say, Avinashitu tadvidhi yena sarvam idam tatam, vinasham avyasya nakaschit kartum arhati. Here, Avinashi means there is no destruction. And if it is tad means, well, what is that tad? It has to be Jiva, Paramatma, that is Brahman, and Prakriti, and all the rest. If Tad refers to a multiple entities, like here what I said, Vishnu, Almighty, individual souls, space, Avyakrita, Akasha, and letters, Varnas, all of them are eternal. And Tad refers to 5 of them. Now, Vinasham Avyasya Nakashit Kartum Arhati. Nobody can, nobody can destroy all these entities. So, this one is also understandable, right? Kim Bahona Yadeshito Anantam Tan Nityameva. Here, the Tad refers to Mahavishnu. according to Shankaracharya, that Tad Avinashi tu Tad Vidhi. The two word is, oh, if you think about that Tad, which is Paramatma, that is eternal. Why is it said in a very different way? Because Tad is special. That is, two means something, two means Pakshavyavriti. That means you're changing the subject. The subject is Paramatma. Here, Ena Sarvamidam Tatam is there. So here the Tad cannot refer to multiple entities. Here, Madhvacharya takes this Tad as only to Mahavishnu. He doesn't consider the rest of the entities like Avyakrita, Akasha, individual source, space, letters and all. He doesn't consider in this shloka. In this shloka, he says this is special for only Mahavishnu, who are Hari, who is all-pervading, and he is eternal. So, if you look at the Gita Vivriti and also this Madhva, it is a little confusing, but it's not that confusing once you know that Tad is a singular, it is only Vishnu only, and Vishnu is very unique. Now, and that because Yena Sarvamidam Tatam is there, right? That is, the Vishnu is all-pervading. So that is easy to understand. There's only one entity which is all-pervading. Why? Jivatma according to Madhvacharya. Okay, question. Let me ask you a question. Is Jiva all-pervading according to Madhvacharya? Can anybody answer? Anybody? Is Jiva all-pervading according to Madhvacharya?
Jiva is all-pervading, but each Jiva is different according to Madhvacharya. Each Jiva has its own peculiarity. That's what I understood.
But is Jiva all-pervading?
No.
No, it's not Krishna. Anu Swarupa.
Anu Swarupa. You're right. Jiva, according to Madhvacharya, is not all-pervading. Only Hari is all-pervading. Then comes the difficult question.
I think
Is Lakshmi all-pervading according to Madhvacharya? Is Lakshmi all-pervading?
Even Lakshmi is not all-pervading.
Above Vayu, no? So he says all-pervading.
Are you sure?
It's only Hari who is all-pervading. Not even
That's what
Shri,
I think.
not even Lakshmi.
But think just for the clarity, I can check and see if I don't think Lakshmi is all-pervading according to Madhva Bhashya. I don't think so.
Lakshmi
Because
is not all-pervading.
Lakshmi is also dependent, totally dependent on Vishnu. So it cannot be all dependent entities cannot be all-pervading, except they can be Nitya, that's all.
In
Okay.
Madhva Sampradaya, Shri Hari is not allowed. Like Shri with Hari is not allowed. Shri is below Hari.
Correct. You're right. You're right. So
I think she is also one of the Jivatma, I think so.
Yeah, she's also a Jiva. That's what I understand. I will definitely clarify next time just to see if they have any special status for Lakshmi in any way. I don't think so. Only a status is that Lakshmi is the most knowledgeable among all other Jivas. That is, she can understand Mahavishnu to a fairly, almost very high extent, where the other people cannot understand Mahavishnu or Hari to that extent. That may be one reason, that may be one point. The second point would be probably she does not have any dukkha, I think. And there may be a little dukkha for the other, like Hari, Vayu, I mean not Hari, I'm sorry, Vayu, Brahma, Rudra and all, they may have a little bit of dukkha. But Lakshmi does not have any dukkha. That may be a possibility.
But how does Gaudiya Vaishnavism then how do they justify this? Because like Kripalu Maharaj very well. For Kripalu Maharaj, Radharani is even above Krishna in one sense.
Correct. So I think in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, it is more like the Radha Krishna Tattva are sort of equal, and both are very similar, equal, but there is a combined Tattva. They are one Tattva, but two separate entities in a way. This is similar to the in one of the sampradayas of the Sri Vaishnava. In Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, the Vadagalai Sampradaya is they two are together equal, but still they form only one tattva. Little complicated, right? How can two become one tattva? That's a little complicated, but that's how it is. We can go into details of this a little bit later, because this is not we are discussing the summary of Madhva Bhashya here. So going into that detail there is not necessary. We'll think about it later. We'll have to do a lot more research to figure out other details of other systems of thought. No. Antavanta ime dehaha nityasyokta sharirina anashino aprameyasya tasmat vidyasva bharata. Here, Madhvacharya takes it slightly differently. The simple meaning is these bodies have an end. Shariri is Nitya. Anashinaha aprameyasya tasmat vidyasva bharata. So the thing is, this Anashinaha aprameyasya tasmat vidyasva bharata. Let me read this because it's a little complicated, because even in Madhva Bhashya here, there are a couple of different meanings. So I want to be clear. The translation here is O Bharata, that means O Arjuna. It is said that the eternal soul's visible physical body is perishable. The physical body is external deha, like all this body, made of matter. But Lord Almighty, the Supreme Soul, is imperishable. Here, the comparison is between Jivatma and Paramatma. And that Paramatma is imperishable in a very different way, not subject to four-way destruction. Hence, fight this war as a worship to the indwelling Lord Aprameya, the one who is not limited by space, time, or attributes. He has infinite auspicious attributes, and he is infinite in terms of time, and he is all-pervading. So here, Madhvacharya says that there is a switch. Initially, they're talking about the Jivatma and their Shariras. And then they talk about Paramatma in the next sentence, who is, that is why Tasmat Vidyasva Bharata becomes sensible. Why should one fight? Why should one fight as a worship of the Lord? How is Karma Yoga, which is Nishkama Karma, how does that become worship of the Lord? Because he is different from the other Jivas. He is not subject to any kind of destruction. We will see what the differences are. The differences, according to Madhvacharya, are even if all the souls and Paramatma are similar, why should one pray other person? So there has to be a difference. So the difference is individual soul is dependent on the Lord. Paramatma is independent. And Paramatma, Lord, has special characteristics far and beyond those of individual souls. The Lord pervades everywhere, the Jivatmas do not. So the fourfold destruction cannot occur to Paramatma. What is the destruction? Deha nasha. That means destruction of body. So even a spiritual body is not destroyable, whereas a Jivatma's body, like anything like made of flesh, they're all perishable. And the very essence of Paramatma, Swarupa, or the very thing which makes up the essence of Paramatma, that is also not destructible. That is, it's imperishable. And Paramatma never has any dukkha, no sorrow for him. And he is always complete, purna. So there is no apurnata for Paramatma, Hari. So this is special about Paramatma. Also, Hari has three types of vyapti or expansion. Space-wise, he is all-pervading. Time-wise, he is always there. Guna-wise, that is auspicious attributes-wise, he has infinite auspicious attributes. These are some unique meanings Madhvacharya understands. Now, let's try to understand Madhva-bhashya's Bimba-Pratibimba Vada. Right? In the Shankara Bhashya, in Advaita, Paramatma is Bimba, the original. Jivatmas are reflections. And where do they reflect on? On Prakriti. That is, matter is the surface from where Brahman is reflected. And so Jivatmas are many. Like how sun is reflected. One sun is there, but he is reflected by different surfaces of water, like in the lake, in the well, in a can of water, in a cup of water. So he could be reflected in different adjuncts or mirror-like things. So the Jivatmas are like virtual in the sense that they're not 100% real. And Paramatma is real according to Advaita. But that is not the Bimba-Pratibimba Vada, which is supported, which is explained in the Madhva Sampradaya. The Madhva Sampradaya says that this is different. You can even say Bimba is like a reflection. However, and Paramatma is one, but all the Bimbas are real. And there is no unreal or virtual or nothing like that can be said. And the reflecting medium is not physical. It is not body or matter. So there is something known as inner body, or it's saying like Swarupa Deha. A Jivatma has a Swarupa Deha, which is sort of identical to the very Swarupa, Jiva Swarupa, right? So using the Swarupa Deha, Brahman gets, Brahman's image is reflected from the Swarupa Deha of Jiva. And the Swarupa Deha is eternal, Nitya. So even in Moksha, that Swarupa Deha is there, which also has Indriyas, like sensual organs and all. So those sensual organs are helpful for a Jiva to experience Parabrahman in the Vaikuntha. Because how do you so in Vaikuntha, there is real knowledge, there is real worship, and sense, mind, everything are active, but they're spiritual. And that is because there is a Swarupa Deha, which is always connected to the Jiva, and it is eternal. And body is external, that is made of flesh. That is subject to birth and death, deterioration, and it is perishable. So
all jivas have predetermined, I mean, they are not predetermined, they already have a Swarupa Deha which cannot be changed, is it? All of them,
Correct.
according
Correct.
to Madhvacharya.
Yeah, all jivas have a very distinct Swarupa Deha. That is, my Swarupa Deha is different from your Swarupa Deha. Like that, even Jivatmas are distinctly different. My Jivatma is uniquely different from your Jivatma. There is no similarity. A small similarity that both are Jivatmas. And my Swarupa Deha is distinct. So every Jivatma is, they're uniquely different from each other. So even in moksha, the amount of bliss I can get if I go to moksha will be different from the amount of bliss you can get if you go to moksha. Like that for everybody, every Jivatma. Is this clear? See this Bimba-Pratibimba Vada, then doesn't it really look like Bimba-Pratibimba Vada? Why do I need this Bimba-Pratibimba Vada? One can say this whole analogy is unnecessary. But Madhvacharya and Advaita says, why we cannot avoid Bimba-Pratibimba Vada because Rupam, Rupam, Pratirupam, Babhuva. Some verses there in the Upanishad. Rupam, Rupam, Pratirupam, Babhuva, or something like that. So the that original verse means that the Upanishad itself is supporting Bimba-Pratibimba Vada. So we have to accommodate it in a different way, not like the Advaitic way. With everything real, we have to keep it that way. That's how they come up with this kind of Bimba-Pratibimba Vada. Is this clear?
Yes, but how do they justify this for, like, they also say there are Nitya Baddhas, right, in Madhvacharya. So how they also have Nitya Swarupa, is it?
Yeah. Nitya Baddhas are eternally or in bondage, right? If they are in bondage.
But they will also have this Nitya Swarupa.
Yeah, they will have Nitya Swarupa. Yeah.
But they'll still be Nitya Baddha.
Yeah, Nitya Baddhas, yes. See, they don't really call it as Nitya Baddha. Okay, you gotta use the right terminology. They also don't call it as Nitya Mukta. I don't think there is a concept called Nitya Mukta in Madhwa Bhasha. Well, maybe I have to check. But really speaking, they only say Tamo Yogya Jivas, and Tamo Yogya is Samsari Jiva, Samsari, Nitya Samsari, Tamo Yogya, Nitya Samsari, Nitya Naraki, Nitya Samsari, Moksha Arha. So there are three categories only. One which can get moksha. I don't think they talk about Nitya Muktas unless I'm little confused here, because Lakshmi has to be a Nitya Mukta. She has to be eternally there. She can't be absent from Vaikuntha, I think. So Nitya Mukta concept probably is there. Okay, probably is there. I have to figure out because I'm just getting confused confused between Sri Vaishnava view of Nitya Muktas and their view of Nitya Mukta. Is there a difference between the two views? Because according to Sri Vaishnavas, there are three types of, that is, Nitya Muktas are always there. They're eternally serving Paramatma, that is Lakshmi Narayana in Vaikuntha. And there are different kinds of Nitya Muktas. So, and those who are Muktatmas, who go from here, from the stage of bondage to the realization and release in Vaikuntha, they are known as Muktatmas in the Vaishnava tradition, Shiva Vaishnava tradition. So according to Madhvacharya, there may be a similar view. I have to figure that out, but they don't express it in that way. They don't talk about Nitya Mukta directly, I think. Everybody has to work and get there, maybe. I'm not sure. I can look into it and confirm. Again, you see,
Just so I understand correctly, Nitya Samsaris also have Nitya Swarupa Deha, but they cannot progress to being according to Madhva Bhasha, they cannot progress to being a Moksha Arha, you are saying, no?
see, they can try to progress, but because of their capability, they will be unable.
Understood. Okay.
So there is always freedom, right? Everybody accepts freedom. Madhvacharya accepts freedom. So a Nitya Samsari could try hard, but how much ever he tries, he can improve a little bit. He can improve, but he will never be able to get out of this samsara. He will not get moksha. He will come back in this on this earth or something similar to earth and experience all this pleasure and pains continuously. But he could improve because he has freedom. The improvement will be limited within a band. What is the band? He has to be in this world. So he could be born as a different kind of a person, or with less money, more money, with less amenities and more amenities. Depends on how he works on it. So he can improve. He can become purer and all those things. But he will not be able to get out of this band. That is the samsari band. That is which keep on coming back to this existence.
Even with Hari's Kripa, he will still he cannot make it to Moksha Arha.
No, yeah, you're right. Yes. Somebody wrote here, Krishnangana wrote, Nitya Muktas, Muktas, and Baddhas. They do talk about Nitya Muktas, Muktas, and Baddhas. Three categories in Madhva Sampradaya. Lakshmi is consort and dependent on Narayana and Vaikuntha. She is lower than him. No one else is higher than Lakshmi. Good to know. Yeah, they do talk about so Nitya Muktas and Muktas and Baddha. So they are very similar to Shiva Vaishnava Sampradaya here. The only difference is each soul is unique, each Jivatma is unique.
Krishna, I have that basic question related to this concept of Pratibimba. Now,
Yeah.
does it mean that there is a difference only in the Swarupa Deha, but the reflections are all equal with this thing, Brahman?
No. See, okay, that's a good point you brought. See, there is a Brahman who is an Antaryami. That is the Pratibimba, right? So a Pratibimba is Jiva, and there is a Bimba Rupa inside the Jiva. So inside the Jiva, there is a Bimba Rupa also. Bimba Rupa is the original Brahman. Yeah. The original Brahman he ensouls every Jiva.
No, that's true, but exactly I am not able to understand in what way. Okay, the Swarupa Deha is Nitya eternal. That way it is different from what Shankara has told. But as far as the reflection is concerned, how is it different from Shankara's view?
See, Pratibimba is reflection, right? So reflection means it is totally, reflection, you need to understand these are analogs, right? They are not really perfect views. They are analogs. So what is this Pratibimba in Madhva Sampradaya doing? It's basically totally dependent on Brahma. Like how an image is totally dependent on the object in front of a mirror. So Jivatma is totally dependent on Brahman. That is, in that way, this Pratibimba theory is there. So this Bimba-Pratibimba is not really physical in the way we are looking at it.
So it should not be taken literally. Yeah, it should not be taken literally.
Not taken literally. Should not take. That is why these analogs are difficult to understand. You know, I'm sure Acharya, Jaitirtha, and all these great Acharyas might explain in great depth about this Bimba-Pratibimba. I myself have to agree that such in-depth studies I have not done yet on this Bimba-Pratibimba. I'm slowly getting to understand this because, see, Madhva works are not very many, and not many of them describe this in all detail. And the story of the matter is, the summary is, I had to work very hard to get in-depth knowledge of this. That's all. The more I study, I can do better.
I had one query. So the Brahman and the Pratibimba Jiva, both are Nitya, but even the
Yes.
Swarupa Deha, the body is, even the body
Also
is
Nitya.
Oh,
Swarupa Deha is Nitya. Only the external body, the flesh body is not Nitya.
okay. So the Karana Sharira and the Linga, the Linga Deha as such will be Nitya in that case.
See, 1 second. See, I have to get a different picture to give you the details of this Linga Deha and Karana Sharira as per Madhvacharya, because there may be slight differences, but definitely there are two types of indriyas. Those indriyas which are integrally connected to the Swarupa Deha, and those indriyas are eternal. But the indriyas which are connected to the flesh body, they are not eternal. Then comes the question, what goes from one body to the other? What really goes is, what do you call, there is this concept of indriyas and mind, which are the subtle body, right? They have to be transferred from one body to the other body. So I'm thinking Madhvacharya, Dvaita also accepts the subtle body, which is the Indriya Deha, Indriya and Manas. They have to accept that that is a separate subtle body, which will go from one body to the other after death. So this that is probably the Linga Deha. Yeah, Linga Deha. See, the thing is, I had made a separate PowerPoint on that. Let me get that PowerPoint later. The reason why I introduced this slide here is only to tell you that in this shloka in the second chapter, Madhvacharya introduces the Bimba-Pratibimba in a simple way. But the details will be dealt later.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay, here, let us take a next sloka, 2.18. Antavanta ime dehaha nityasyukta sharirinaha anashino aprameyasya tasmat nityasva bharata. The same shloka we had talked about earlier. I'm just making some specific comments here. Bodies are perishable, jivas are not. Ishwara is different from jivas. So, because Ishwara is the independent person, let all your activities be a form of worship of that Ishwara. So you are including this fight you are going to go further with in the Kurukshetra. In Kurukshetra, even that fight is a worship of that Lord. So Nityasyukta Sharirinaha, it goes into complexities, whether that is Jiva there or Paramatma, it says that is Jiva. Anashino Aprameyasya here, that refers to Ishwara. So Nityasyukta Sharirinaha refers to Jivas. So the Bimba is the original object, that is Ishwara, is Nitya. So is Pratibimba Jiva. So this talks about Nitya Dehas in Vaikuntha for Muktas there is a Nitya Deha. There are statements in the Bhagavata which states divine bodies in Vaikuntha to Muktas, where even Shiva, Brahma, and so on serve Hari, who is the only independent entity, with their divine bodies. That is the Nitya Dehas, Swarupa Dehas. Muktas are there with divine bodies. They also have divine bodies. Those divine bodies are eternal. Anashino Aprameyasya Jiva and Ishwara Mukhyartha Ishwara. So that Jiva and Ishwara Mukhyartha Ishwara. Anashino Aprameyasya here. Anashino can refer to Jiva and Aprameyasya refers to Ishwara. So Ishwara is the main meaning here. Okay. Now comes the unique Vedic references Madhvacharya quotes. He quotes from a Shruti called Paramashruti. This Paramashruti is not referred to by the other Acharyas. So this particular Veda is unique, and it is said by the Dvaitins that Madhvacharya directly got these messages from Vyasa, his guru, and Madhvacharya directly realized these rishis. The other people may not know. Here it says, Jiveshwara Bhida Chaiva, Jadeshwara Bhida Tata, Jiva Bhedo Mitaschaiva, Jada Jiva Bhida Tata, Mitascha Jada Bhedojam Prapancho Bheda Panchakaha. So this is fivefold difference between Jiva, Jada, and Ishwara. So Jiva Bheda is there, Jiva Jada Bheda is there, Jada Paramatma Bheda is there, Paramatma Jada Jiva Bheda is there. Like that, there are fivefold differences. So there are some statements. Chidananda Sharirene Sarve Mukta Yatha Harihi. Even the Muktatmas have a Chidananda Deha, that which is made of bliss and consciousness. Using that Deha, they serve that Hari in moksha. Bhunjate Kamato Bhogan Tadantar Bahire Vacha Paramashruti. This is in the Paramashruti. So they experience by themselves and also external to them in moksha. With Swarupa Dehas, Muktas enjoy moksha. Okay, so there are Mukta category is there, obviously, and Swarupa Dehas are that's what they use for any experience in Vaikuntha. Even in Mukti, there is Bheda. Mama Sadhamyam Agataha. That means Jiva does not merge into Brahman. He only becomes similar. He or she will become similar to Brahman. Sadharmya is not becoming one or Aikya. So Madhvacharya clearly refutes and disagrees that there is any kind of Aikya or becoming one. And he refers to Idam Jnanam Upashritya Mama Sadharmya Magataha Sarge Pinoparjayante Pralayena Vyathanti Cha 14.2. So this clearly says Sadharmya, which is similar dharmas, and it cannot be Aikya. Okay. Now I'll ask you a question. Think properly, think carefully. Among the three prasthanas, or the prasthana trayas, which is the most important one according to the Advaitins? So what are the prasthana trayas? That's the first question. The second question is, among the three prasthanas, which one is most important for the Advaitins? Anyone?
Upanishad?
Yes, that's true. Okay. Now, if that is the answer, suppose Shankara, say, someone opposes the Shankara Bhashya using a Bhashya on the Gita. Will this be sufficient?
No.
No. So somebody has to explain all the Upanishad statements properly and give their opposing view to Shankaracharya's view on the Upanishads. Only then it will be of some value. So just writing a bhashya on the Gita and says that, okay, this is not right, and you should take my view, not Shankaracharya's view, will not be sufficient. Advaitans can say Gita is a Smriti, and Smriti is very flexible. It is only a secondary source, so it is not primary. So they can get away and say, even if you write the best Bhashya on the Gita and oppose the Advaita Bhashya, there is no use, because Gita is a Smriti, according to Advaitans, and that has a little bit lower status than the Shruti, which were never created, which were never authored. Smriti was authored by the Rishis, but Shruti was pure, naturally, eternally available. So Madhvacharya immediately says, let us take the battle to the Upanishads. Let us not focus only on the Gita. While explaining Gita, I will bring in Upanishadic statements and explain them here and there. So most other acharyas also quote from the Upanishads while explaining Gita, right? Even Ramanujacharya quotes from the Upanishads. But Madhvacharya takes it very seriously to explain important statements in the Upanishads, like the Tat Tvam Asi, Aham Brahmasmi, and all these Advaita supporting Shruti statements. Now, let us take a few of them. He says, in moksha, there has to be bheda, or difference. Why? So, oshnute sarvan kama ansaha brahmana vipaschiteti. This is Taittiriya Upanishad. It says, in moksha, that person, ashnute means attained, Brahman, with all the infinite attributes of Brahman, along with the attributes. So he experiences Brahman along with all the attributes. So there has to be difference in moksha. Then, well, that seems like you passed that first statement. Now come to the tougher Upanishadic statements. Sayoha vai tat paramam brahma veda brahmaiva bhavati. This is the Mundaka Upanishad. This is Brahma veda brahmaiva bhavati. The person who knows Brahman becomes Brahman only. Brahmaiva bhavati. He verily becomes Brahma. That's what Mundaka Upanishad is saying. How would you understand it? This is very Advaitic in nature. That's what the claim is. For that, Madhvacharya is, what is Brahma? Brahma is Brihatva. Brihatva is big. So, Brahma, don't take it as Brahman or Narayana or Vishnu. You only take it as Brihatva, that is that which is big. So, Gunapurna is what is indicated here. Hence, based on the capabilities of an individual aspirant, since each aspirant has uniquely different capabilities and uniquely different Swarupas are the forms, based on their capabilities and form, they can attain Brihatva or some kind of bigness, Purnata, or that is completion in their gunas. So what is intended here is not identity, but each person can get Purnata or completion in their own way. So the completion need not be one perfect completion. It can be at different levels. So this shloka, according to Madhvacharya, does not indicate absolute Aikya, but just some kind of a similarity, that's all. Now, he goes further and says, what is this you are talking like this? Brahman is Brahma, right? He says, look, the word Brahma in Sanskrit are used even for Jivas at certain times. So all Jivas are known as Brahma only. Muktas are also known as Parabrahma. Muktas in some Shrutis or some scriptures, they are referred to as Parabrahma. Prakriti is Lakshmi. And Lakshmi is known as Paramatma or Mahat Brahma. So don't be confused about this word Brahma. Brahma is big, but this Brahma can refer to Jivas, can refer to Muktas, and even Prakriti in the Bhagavad Gita is referred to, the word Brahma refers to Prakriti, even as used by Lord Krishna himself. Mama yonir mahat Brahma tasmin garbham dadhamyaham. Tasmin garbham dadhamyaham. So this is said. Mama yonihi mahat Brahma. The womb is Prakriti, and that is Mahat Brahma. And that Madhvacharya says is only Lakshmi. Vishnu is Parama Mahat Brahma. So Vishnu is of a higher level. So that Brahma is common to whether it is Jiva or Muktas or Prakriti or Vishnu. So when you say Brahmaiva Bhavati, it becomes Brahman only. That Brahmatva is common to all this. So I am not trying to torture any of these words. By nature, Sanskrit words have different meanings. So I'm just using them. That's what Madhvacharya says. Each one attains Brahmatva or the Gunapurnatva or completion or progress in attaining auspicious qualities based on their original capabilities, which is just Swarupa. So that's how you have to understand Brahma Veda, Brahmaiva Bhavati. Is this clear to you? Any questions on this? Everyone is quiet. What happened?
No question.
No
So,
question.
I had one query.
Yeah.
I had one query.
Uh-huh.
So in Sanskrita, there are many meanings to single words. In that case, everyone can go with different meanings. Is that true?
Possible, but you have to justify it throughout the Bhagavad Gita. You have to take the Bhagavad Gita as a word. That is why there are 97 or 95 bhashyas on Bhagavad Gita, even prior to Ramanujacharya, I think. Right?
Yes.
There were 95 bhashyas. There may be more today. I think newer people are writing. For example, there's some person, Vishwatmananda or somebody who wrote his own bhashya or something. So now the what do you call the Swami Narayan Samstha, that too the Babs Samstha is writing their own commentaries. So commentary is, number of them are there, right? But you have to know Sanskrit very well and how to justify your commentary and clearly get the different views and different meanings, justify the Sanskrit grammar, justify all other shastras. So there is a level of freedom, yes. And you have to justify all the context also.
Okay.
So, in other words, language is difficult. It is flexible. That is true. All right.
I have a question. In general, see, Advaitas take Dvaitic Vakyas as secondary. How do Madhva, how does Madhva view Advaita Vakyas, Abheda Vakyas then?
We are taking one by one. We will go further. I have only given you a couple of Abheda Vakyas. Brahma Veda, Brahmaiva Bhavati is an Abheda Vakya. I just gave one of them now, right?
Yeah, I mean, there is a total interpretation of Abheda Vakyas in terms of Veda only. So, does he also have something like a primary sense, secondary sense like that? For the
No, his only sense is Veda.
Okay.
All right. Okay, now, Napretya Samjna Asti. This is the word, this is the Yajnavalkya Maitreya Samvada, I think. Napretya Samjna Asti. After reaching moksha, there is no jnana. This is the meaning of this Vedic sentence. Advaita, according to Advaita, there is no awareness after death of the final body. So after the death of the final body, Jiva goes away. There is no Jiva. There is no awareness. This is what Advaitins think. Right? For that, Madhvacharya says, not true. That's not the way to understand. After death, there is no vritti jnana. Jiva is jnana swarupa, made of jnana. The very essence is made of jnana, and that cannot lose jnana. However, because of the close association of matter, prakriti, made of 5 elements, prithvi, appa, tejo, vayu, akasha, air, wind, fire, and those are the elements of this prakriti or nature. One acquires a vritti jnana. Vritti jnana is a lower level jnana, which is there in the ordinary life. That will help us go from one, get a job or do something or do many things. So vritti jnana is important for this livelihood and life here. But that does not come that comes mainly because of the association of matter with Jivatma. But this vritti jnana is lost in moksha. So this napretya samjna asti means one type of jnana is lost, not the swarupa jnana, which is the very essence of the Jivatma, and that can never be lost. And that is Jivatma is eternal, and it's made of this swarupa jnana, and hence that can never go away. This is how Madhvacharya takes it. Very similar, I think, in the Vishtadvaita, but we will take Vishtadvaita later, not now. Okay, next. So one other interpretation Madhvas give is non-muktas will not have the knowledge of the muktas. Napretya samjna asti means they take it slightly differently. If somebody is not a mukta, that means he is bound, that person is bound, he or she. They cannot, they will not have the knowledge of the muktas. That means they don't know what muktas are. That is, what is the nature of mukta? Who got moksha? How did they get it? What is the nature? They will never know about it. So that is, we can interpret differently. That's what Madhvacharya says. Now, there are other Advaitic verses which are very tough. Advaitan napashyati pashyan vaitad drashtavyam napashyati nahi drashtur drishtehe viparilopo vidyate avinashitvan natu tad vitiyam asti tato anyat vibhaktam yat pashyet. This is one verse. Advaitans say the meaning of this is, and when it appears in the deep sleep, it does not see. Yet it is seeing, though it does not see. For there is no cessation of the vision of the seer, because the seer is imperishable. There is then, however, no second thing separate from the seer that it could see. So this, according to Advaita, this whole sentence refers to a person in deep sleep. So in deep sleep, there is a drashta. Drashta is seer. He sees, but he sees nothing because there is no object to see. Because there is no second thing to perceive. So in Advaita, in deep sleep, that is, as per Advaita, in deep sleep, there is no thing other than the seer. The seer is constantly seeing. There is vision, but there are no objects. And there is nothing other than Brahman or the seer there. So this is the way Advaita Bhashya goes on this particular Upanishad Vakya. Here it says, this has to be understood. Yad Dvaitam na pashyati. That means It should be totally differently understood. There is Brahma, this is not sleep related. It is, for Madhvacharya, it is Brahman related. That is, if Brahman does not will difference or bheda, it is sankalpa. So different. See, Brahman has to will, right? To create something, he has to will, right? So when he wills, he says he will not will bheda or difference in some ways. For example, there is no bheda or difference among between Paramatma and his avatars, like Matsya Avatara, Kurma Avatara, Narasimha Avatara, Rama Avatara, and all. There is no difference between Paramatma and his avatars. There is no bheda or difference. So because there Paramatma has willed that let there be no bheda. But in certain cases like matter, jiva, and all, there is bheda. So yad dvaitam na pashyati should be understood this way. Tato anyad vibhaktam yad pashyati is stated later. It means where Brahman sees or wills difference or bheda, then bheda exists. That is in the case of jiva, jada, and so on, right? Brahman's knowledge is not illusory. Na drashtuhu drishtehe viparilopo vartate. That means drashta, the seer, does not lose his vision. So Brahman's knowledge is not illusory. He sees truth. He is sarvajna. There is no scope here to state in Sushupti, there is no second thing, and hence there is Advaita. There is no scope like that. So it can be, the whole set of sentences can be understood very differently according to Madhvacharya. Is this clear?
So pashyet is the word that is used to say he wishes to see.
Yeah, he sees.
Makes sense.
Okay. Second thing is Brihadaranyaka, which seem to support Advaita. Very strong statements are there in Brihadaranyaka. Which ones are there? There is Maitri Mantra 114, section 4. This is a very tough set of sentences. Yatra hi dvaitam iva bhavati, taditara itaram jighrati, taditara itaram pashyati, taditara itaram shrunoti, taditara itaram abhivadati, taditara itaram manute, taditara itaram vijanati, yatra va asya sarvam atmaiva bhut, tatkena kam jigret, tatkena kam pashyet, tatkena kam shrunuyat, tatkena kam abhivadet, tatkena kam manvita, tatkena kam vijaniyat, enedam sarvam vijanati, tam kena vijaniyat, vijñātāram are kena vijaniyat iti. This is the verse. You can go refer to it, study. I just indicated the whole, sentence because it's very important to understand each sentence. The meaning here, the rough translation is, because when there is duality, as it were, as if there is duality, then, that is, if there are two different things or different things, then one smells something, one sees something, one hears something, one speaks something, one thinks of something, one knows something. But when to this aspirant, everything has become the self, then what should one smell? And through what? What should one see and through what? What should one hear and through what? What should one speak and through what? What should one think and through what? What should one know and through what? Through what should one know that owing to which all this is known? Through what, O Maitreyi, should one know the knower? He is the knower. He is Vijnata. That means to the aspirant, in the normal state of duality, there are different things. And in this state of duality, one can see something, one can touch, smell, hear, speak, think, know. That can happen in this normal state of duality. But to this aspirant, when everything has become the self, yatra tu sarvam atmaiva bhut, right? What does it say? The same verse comes in the Ishwara Upanishad, by the way. Yatra va asya sarvam atmaiva bhut tat kena kam jigret tat kena kam pashyet. Watch that. When everything has become that self, then through what do you do what? There is no indriyas or medium or instrument. There are no instruments because everything has become Brahman self. This looks very Advaitic. How does Madhvacharya understand this verse? Do you get the Advaitic meaning here properly?
No, can you explain a little bit again?
Yeah, think from a very simple principle. The principle here is, if there is a duality as if it were means there is no real duality. But if there is duality in the state of ignorance, there is duality, there is difference. There is, I am different from my computer, I am different from you, I am different from other things around me. Then I can smell, touch, feel anything which is different. But in my meditation or upasana or some kind of methodology, I have realized that there's only Brahman. Everything has become Brahman, or Brahman has become everything. Then to me, what will I touch using what? What will I speak using what? What will I see using what? So my indriyas, my instruments, everything has become Brahman. So how do I know the knower? With what can I know the knower? Because the knowledge is Brahman, the knowing everything is Brahman. Brahman has become everything. If everything is Brahman, what instruments can I use to see that, hear, touch, feel? Because everything, our instrument is Brahman. There's nothing other than Brahman. So that Vijnata or the knower, how do you know the knower? He is everything. That's the idea here. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I guess this is where Madhvacharya puts in the Swarupa Deha, no?
One second, let's go to Madhvacharya. Let's question here, Krishna Nadiri. The question, so the realization period for the seer has a time issue. During realization or meditation period, everything has become Brahman. What happens once his or her realization time is over? Back to the same duality. So here the idea is, as long as the maturity of realization is not so good, that person can come back to duality. But if the person is a very advanced aspirant, spiritually very advanced, according to Advaita, then he realizes Brahman and does not come back. Nacha punaravartate, nacha punaravartate, he does not come back, he does not come back to this duality. So here the realization can have permanent realization. That is the answer to this. Okay, now is there one more message? Okay, all right. So you can speak up and ask your questions too. You don't have to text, but text is good. But these text messages will all go away in chat. The chat messages are not really stored anywhere, by the way, just for your information. So is this clear, this Vijnata, what do you call this translation, right?
Yes.
See, this is the what do you call, Advaitic view here, right? Okay. 1 second. Okay. Here, I think, see, unfortunately, I did not write down the Madhvacharya here. Well, let me do one thing. Let me come to Madhvacharya on this a little bit later, because maybe when I copied the slides from one deck to the other, I missed out a few slides. That is why I could not get it. So this particular verse, we will come back again to find out what is Dvaita Bhashya on it, or what is Madhva Bhashya on it. I made a mistake this time. Next time I'll correct it. But let us take Aham Brahmasmi verse. I am Brahman, right? That is the meaning of this. According to Madhvacharya, these are not this particular statement, both of them, that is the prior one and this one, is not indicating Aikya or oneness, identity between Jiva and Brahman. It is not doing it. Why? Brahman is Sarvanamavan. That means Brahman has all names refer to Brahman, all words refer to Brahman. All words indicate only Brahman. Sarve Veda Yat Padamamananti, that is the Kathopanishad. All the Vedas are talking about only that Brahman. Okay. Here, Aham, that word Aham means it can be taken as Aheyam or blemishless. Brahma is Guna Paripurna, that is, he is full of auspicious qualities. So, Asmi means Asmi, okay, Asmi, right? Asmi means not limited. Me is limitation. Asmi means not limited. Na Smi is same as Asmi. So Brahman is Gunapurna and blemishless. That's all it means, and not limited. So Brahman is blemishless and not limited. That's what is the meaning of this word, this whole 3 words. Aham Brahmasmi. This sentence means that's it. Brahman is blemishless and not limited. So similarly, Asmat, Yushmat, Tat all refer to Brahman. Asmat means I. Aham is Asmat Shabda. Yushmat means Tvam. Tvam means you. And that is Yushmat Shabda. Tat means neuter gender. That. All this refers to only Brahman. So Kriya Vachaka, Dravya Vachaka, that which indicate action. Verbs, Dravya Vachaka, that which indicates object. Asmat here is in everything. That is, he is in everything. Asmat means that Brahman is in everything. Yushmat means he is in front of everything. That he is unseen. That's that. So he is unseen. So this is how you understand these fundamental words. Now comes, okay, so Aham Brahmasmi is understood properly. Any doubts on this? Cool, you understand it, right?
Yes, it kind of breaks in between. But yes, understood.
Okay. Now, Tat Tvam Asi, that is the famous statement in the Chandogya Upanishad. The background is Shvetaketu is the student. He comes beaming with overconfidence from the school he went to for like 12 years or something. He studied in a Veda school, and he comes with confidence and pride. And his father, Uddhalaka, asks him, have you asked your teacher about Narayana, the controller? Shvetaketu said, no. If my guru knew, I would have asked. I don't think he knows. Then Uddhalaka says, that is the most important thing. You have to know the controller of everything. That is fundamental. And finally, he says, Tat Tvam Asi, you are that person. See, when Tat Tvam Asi, according to Advaita, is that Tat is that Brahman, Tvam means you, Shvetaketu, Asi is you. So you are that Brahman, is the meaning given by Advaitins. But Madhvacharya says, Tat here cannot mean that Brahman, because Shvetaketu is puffed with confidence. He doesn't understand stuff. He doesn't even know what it is. He's an Ajnani. He comes and claims or shows confidence. Such a person will never be told as, oh, you're the Brahman man, you with all these problems, you don't even know what that controller is, but still you're Brahman. That's not the way we should understand, according to Madhvacharya. He says, Tasya Tvam Asi. Tasya means you belong to him. In that sense, you are Tat Tvam Asi. So the word Tat should be understood as Tasya Tvam. Tadadhinatvat. That means you belong, you are subordinate to that person. You depend on him. Oops. Tasmat Tvam Asi. Because of him, you are as you are. You are operating. Your body is working. Your heart is working. Your mind is working because of him. Tasmat Tvam Asi. You exist. Tasmai Tvam Asi. You exist for him. For the sake of his pleasure. Not because you want to exist. You were born. He made you have life. So you exist for the sake of only him, not for your personal happiness. So with taking all these meanings, we should understand it as, hence it is a Tat Tvam Asi. Tat Tvam Asi should be understood as a Tat Tvam Asi. That means you are not that Brahman. That's how we should understand Tat Tvam Asi. So he gives different kinds of justification for his way of looking at Tat Tvam Asi. Is this clear?
Unique way of looking at it. All the vibhaktis for Tat, no?
Yeah. He takes all the vibhaktis, and says everything indicates that this Jiva or Shvetaketu is different from Brahman. He's not identical to Brahman. So that's how.
It has its own charm. Also is very charming.
So summary of Tat Tvam Asi is you are subordinate to Narayana. Narayana is the pradhana, most important. The rest are dependent. Yatha somyekena mritpindena sarvam nirmayam vijnatam syat vacharambanam vikaro namadhejam vrittika ityeva satyam. This is another verse of Chandogya Upanishad. The another verse of Chandogya Upanishad says, Yatha somya ekena mritpindena sarvam nirmayam vijnatam syat vacharambanam vikaro namadhejam vrittika ityeva satyam. Says, O Somya means he is addressing a student who is capable of doing Somayaga. Or, it's just a Vedic way of addressing a student. It is like this. By knowing a single lump of earth or clay, you know all the objects made of earth or clay. All changes are mere words in name only. but clay is the reality. So pot, pot, bowl, these are just names. But essentially what is, they're all only in reality clay only. So this is a wonderful, difficult verse which talks about causality, the material causality. The mrit or mud or clay is the material cause using which you can do a pot or a bowl or even a spoon with just clay. So all these different forms are not real. Vikara, they are transformations and they're not real. They're just names. The same clay in a particular shape you call bowl. The same clay, if it is in a different shape, you call it a pot. But Mrittika ityeva satyam, Shankaracharya here takes it as the mud is only real. The rest are unreal. The pot, spoon, bowl, they're all unreal. Only it is truly mud. The rest are just names and forms. That's all. So this is the Advaita view of this verse. Madhvacharya says, due to similarity, like how we know clay, by knowing clay, we can understand the effects such as pot and all. So here it does not talk about unreality or reality at all. So the effects are dependent on Narayana. So are all jivas, devatas, and the Jada or the matter. All are dependent on Narayana, the creator. So how do you understand Eka Vijnanena Sarva Vijnana? This concept is very important. If you know clay, which is one, the knowledge of the mud or clay, will let me know anything which is made of clay. It could be a pot, it could be anything, plate, doesn't matter. So I would know all the effects. So how do you know? By knowing the one knowledge, understand everything else. Mritika is mud or clay. This is Nitya. So Madhvacharya takes it very differently, uniquely. Say Mritika is a Nitya Shabda in Sanskrit. So once you know the Nitya Shabda, the Vikara Shabdas, Ghata, Pata, Ghata and all are Vikara Shabdas. If there is nothing called pot in this universe, that doesn't exist. That word is unnecessary. The true word is Mritika, that is which is known as Nitya Shabda, the eternal word. The others are, it can come and go based on life. For example, there's a nuclear bomb and everything goes to dust and there are no pots. Then you cannot talk about pots. They are Anitya Shabdas. Similarly, knowing Narayana, the Pradhana, independent person, everything else which are Apradhana or subordinate can be known. That's how he takes it. Here, Narayana is not the cause. So he takes out the causal effect relationship completely out. He says, Narayana is the Pradhana, main, independent. Knowing the independent, the dependents can be known because dependents are similar to Narayana. There's only similarity here, but there is no causality because cause is only Prakriti or Mula Prakriti transformed into matter, into this universe. Narayana is only an effective cause or an efficient cause, like how the potter makes pot using a mud and some instruments. So Narayana here is the potter. Vishnu is the potter. So he doesn't become the pot. The clay transforms into the pot. So Madhvacharya denies material causality. All other acharyas, Shankaracharya and Ramanujacharya, says that the one object has to become other, the universe. So the Brahman transforms himself to become the universe. That's what both of them say in different ways. This is a very difficult causality problem, you have to go much deeper to understand it. It will take a longer time. Okay, 1 second. We are at 26, now it's 10 o'clock. Wow, we have taken much longer today, 1.5 hours. Sorry, very sorry. I think we should stop here. Hope this class was useful. Any feedback? Good, bad, ugly? Questions?
It was good. The lecture was good, even though it took 1.5 hours, but we didn't feel like it was 1.5 hours. It felt like it was a very short time. I had one query. So, as per Madhvacharya, if Narayana, if he denies material causality, is it that in the Madhva Sampradaya, the Prakriti is always eternal?
Yes. So Prakriti is never created, but Prakriti transforms from one form to the other.
In that case, Prakriti becomes independent of Narayana?
It is dependent though. There is nothing independent of Hari or Narayana. There is nothing. Lakshmi, Prakriti, Jada, Jiva, everything is dependent on Hari. But I understand what you're meaning. It has some kind of an independent existence, right?
Yes.
This is the, he says, from the will of the Lord, from Hari's will, some Nitya Vastus or eternal entities exist.
Okay.
But it's a little hard to understand that. You're right. That is a weak point there.
Okay.
Because if Jiva, Jada, and Paramatma, that is the Jiva's conscious, different consciousnesses, Jivas, and Jada, matter, and Paramatma coexisted together as three, how can you ascribe the total causality to Krishna? Sarva Karana Karanam, he is the complete Karana, or the original cause of everything. All causes, whatever you can think of in this universe, is caused by that one cause. So he has to be also the material cause.
Yes. Yes.
Unless you accept material cause, he will not be completely a cause. But Madhvacharya categorically denies any material cause. He says Brahman cannot be transformed. That is the nature. Jivas are constant. Jada or Prakriti is constant. They always existed. They were never created. There is no creation for this. He argues in a very different way. He does not, he bulldozes it. He says, that's what is the truth. I have statements to prove in the Vedas. That's it.
Okay.
Okay,
Krishna,
good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have one question. Maybe you can take it up in the next class. How does Madhwa interpret Sadeka Saumya Idam Brahmasmi?
Very good question. It is a little bit complicated question, right? Because Ekameva, Dvitiyam and all is all tough. Let me come to that next time. All right.
Okay.
Good question. Very good question. We'll come to that next time. All right.
It is there in one of the classes, but I don't remember which one.
Yeah, I did cover it long time back. Yeah. Asmat Guru Mahasma Paramatma Mahasma Paramatma Mahashri Krishna Parabrahma Mahashri Lakshmi Narasimha Parabrahma Mahashri Lakshmi Hayavadana Parabrahma Namaha.
Thank you, sir. Namaskaras.
Namaskaram, sir.